you was telling me how interpersonal relationships going down the toilet. We meant by that.
Just that the relationships between men and women and how they communicate and behave with each other just seem to be getting worse over time. And you could tell from just from simply observing on social media how they communicate. It's very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides, on the men's side and on the women's side. And it's like nobody take any time to consider this is another human being, or the fact that they do eventually want to be in relationships, or they feel the way that they do because they want to be in a relationship but can't seem to get into one. Like people want to be on the internet taking talking points and tips and tricks from those like alpha male podcasts or alpha female podcasts.
What's up? Everything exists.
With the podcast, that would be like mainly like a cast of women and they're talking all kind of shit.
So I don't think that's what it's called.
Well, I called it alpha female podcast because that's there's began on just like the men. It's always on the female podcast, it's always the men's fault, and on the male podcast, it's always the women's fault. Right? So that's why I say alpha female. But people taking talking points from these podcasts and then coming to other people, whether it be on social media or in real life, and bringing these talking points to them. And obviously, if you as a man come up to a woman, like others talking good all the time, you're asking she about yourself, she asking you about yourself, or you decide that you're going to meet up and go out on a date. One of the questions you have for her is, so what does bring to the table? Obviously, that's going to have the woman like,
that's suspicious.
Pump your brakes. Where that question come from?
Where you're supposed to know where this bring to the table. That's not an important question.
What you bring to the table is an important question, but it could be asked in a different way. Like what do you think is like your best qualities as a partner in a relationship?
We're just asking about the person.
Yeah.
What they think about what's the good qualities of a person. You're not asking them what they just bring in a relationship. You're just asking them what they think good qualities are.
Well, okay, well you could ask it like, what exactly do you bring to a relationship when it is you are in one? Like, what type of person you are in a relationship.
So you just don't want to hear table.
I'm saying that because this is a popular question that's asked on those male podcasts, that if it is you ask it to a woman in real life, she'll catch one and be like, use one of them.
So this is an issue of, I don't mind you asking me, but how you asking me? That what you're saying?
Yeah.
That didn't make no sense. It sounds like a question. You wanted to be asked a specific type of way? That kind of leans into all the stuff they talk about.
Well, okay. Maybe I'm not explaining myself right. It's just that I don't think that those... Yo, gas one.
No, I think I have enough gas in the morning start. Hey! Alright! Yeah! Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that in for context.
Why you let take off that noise, right? Why you let take off that noise? Every fucking day you're passing, man, I can't hear that noise.
Yeah, the talking points of Alpha Male podcast. To me, it doesn't make sense to bring it into the real world and ask a woman the question.
But they are talking about the real world, so what do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Most of what it is you're talking about, you basically saying you are believing a woman will be triggered when it is the hear ways bring to the table. Right? Yeah. But my objection to that is you have a proper issue. If it is you have one at all, you just, from what you're saying, women, including yourself, would have an issue with how the questions being asked. That's kind of straight to the point there. Rather than, so what kind of qualities you want in a man? Ask men a better way than that. Ask men is raunchy, or too blunt, or too direct. Okay. To the metaphor of the table. Don't ask me not so direct. Ask me better than that. That's not the point. It's not to appease. That isn't the point. It's not to appeal to you. So you could have a question asked you nicely, so then I could have the fortune, pleasure of it being answered. No? That makes sense? Okay.
But, okay.
Who gives a
What
fuck?
What I mean,
Yes. If somebody
I
asks you
know
what
you
brings to the
don't.
table, if somebody asks what you bring to the table, to answer the question, you could ask it back too.
That is fair.
It's fair.
I think I chose a bad example.
Nah, I think you chose a good example. Like that's what you just said. There was a good example of how some females just think where, yeah. You don't like something, but it's more, you okay with the question?
You just like how
It
it
doesn't
said.
like how it ask.
Because I think that is a question that triggers a lot of women when a man is to ask them, so what does bring to the table?
Yeah, but it's just a question. At the end of the day, it's just a question. So it have no problem there, in my opinion. Sticks and stones.
Okay.
So it have no.
I understand what
It
you
shouldn't have, in my opinion. Shouldn't have, in my opinion, anything to trigger anybody.
There are men on their sides blaming women for everything. Like, woman is all wrong with the world. And then there are women on their side from the same standpoint that men is everything wrong with the world. When really the truth and the facts of the matter is that we need each other to work.
Okay.
Right? But neither one of those tell people, well, try your best to, yes, women have these certain flaws about themselves. Yes, men have these certain flaws about themselves. But the ultimate goal is for the both of us to come together and have a family and continue the population and be happy and fulfilled, just like, any human would want to be, because no human wants to be completely alone. Right? Nobody not saying that. And that's why I think that is what I think is helping interpersonal relationships go down the toilet, as I say, because it's only women bad, men bad. Clash.
Okay.
Clash. Not find common ground and come together and see how it is, or they could work with each other. Nothing like that. If they do say something like that, because I don't want to discredit these people like 100%, if it is they do say something like that, it's in the huge minority, and the majority is them talking about how women is bimbos and sluts and whores, and women talking about how men is trash, man is dog, men and shit.
Them thing not true? Oh, what I'm saying is everybody have the potential to be an asshole.
Yes, everybody has the potential to be an asshole. Everybody has the potential to be a bad person or or like the toxic person in a relationship. Right? Everybody has the propensity to be that person. But that doesn't mean that you should just shun all men or shun all women. Wait till we're going to be in a couple of years, and what kind of legacy are you leaving for people that are younger than you? How it is the talking points expressed by the Alpha Male and the Alpha Female podcast reflecting on teenagers. You're already at an age where it is your emotions volatile for boys and for girls. How are you going to feel when it is some man on the internet or a group of men on the internet are saying stuff like, women ain't shit, there's a drain on resources, making women come across as just inconvenient objects. And then the women on the other side doing the same thing to men. How is a teenage boy going to react to that? How is a teenage female going to react to that? You're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to internalize these things because you don't know any better to have the proper discernment to take a talking point that might click or mesh with you or with something you want to do in the future, and take that and leave everything else. You soaking up everything like a sponge.
Well, I think they would respond to you if it is.
Your friend passing back. I think you're to hear.
Hey! Yeah! Alright.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Photo. No.
Hi.
Okay.
How I think they would respond to if it is they had the opportunity to respond to you. I think they would be like, we're not trying to do that, Hey, yeah, okay. Alright. Jesus Christ. So, how I think they would respond to you is they would say, alright. So, how I think they would respond to, I live in all that, I even all in. Listen, when you're living in Trinidad, you have gas tanks, you have birds, right?
You have the soil man, the gas truck,
Right?
the
Water, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, your
iron,
fridge.
scrap iron.
Yeah, scrap iron. Yeah, your fridge making noise in the background, depending on how long you have it.
Mm-hmm.
You have your neighbor closing the door, the window hard. Anyway, that's a different story. What thing they would respond all inside there. Mean concern, boy. Anyway, what thing they would respond to is we're not doing that, you know, we're not degrading women, we're not saying anything mean about them. What we're doing is we're trying to bring light to the facts, and we're trying to say, well, some of them don't listen, some of them they wasn't raised properly, and they want to take under the leadership of a man. They don't want to they don't want they don't want to be feminine, they don't want to be, you know, they don't want to be a woman and compliment a man. They want to be their own self, they want to do their own thing, they want to, you know, be as assertive and rough and tough and loud as a man. And these men in these podcasts he mentioned, and I think that's how they would respond to. We're not doing those things. We're trying to bring light to a serious problem here. Yeah?
Okay, well, my rebuttal to that would be if women so out of control, right? We live in a patriarchal society where men are the main ones in control of things. If women are out of control and out of pocket, then that would mean that it don't have proper leadership, which means it don't have proper men leading and doing what it is it's supposed to do, because then the women decide, well, you ain't doing nothing, I'll do something.
And they would respond to that. Hold on, they'd respond to that and say, no, they go want to cut you off too. They go respond to you and say, hey, listen, we understand that some men are doing acting like proper men, you know. Some, yeah. It's not all. We understand that some men out there who are not acting like how they should as a man and not acting in their truth. The truth, right? It have some men out there who not acting like a man, you know, not fulfilling their purpose in life, you know, not finding the whatever they had to do, not taking the helm and the brass ring of life and saying, I as a man, this is what I do it myself, right? But you know, we trying. That's the reason why this podcast says, sister, enlighten these men about these serious situations, so that they can then be informed, so that they can then be better. Come on, it's a cycle here. This is what we're doing.
Those podcasts exist to berate, demean, and embarrass women. Especially the podcasts that will bring on female guests for the female guests to speak and answer their questions that they already have prepared, that they already have answers to, and they're just asking it to the females to hear what stupidness coming them out. That is what I think is the main catalyst in interpersonal relationships going down the toilet, because you can't be constantly at odds with each other like this. At some point, you have to be like, I as a woman would like to be in a fulfilling romantic relationship, long-term romantic relationship with a man. You need to assess to yourself, what do I need to do to make this happen? Find said man that you want to be in a relationship with him, and instead of doing this, do this. You know, come together. Find common ground on things. If it is he is do something, I know, like you see he go and he bathe, and when it is he done bathe, he hang up, he towel on the hook, he just drop it on the ground. Instead of going off about it, come and be like,
some men don't have no patience, and like, as a man, we tell them, man, waste with that time, at that point.
You still try to work with the person, because if it is that person wants to be in a relationship with you, they want to make it work, they are going to do what needs to be done to make it work.
Or if they're going to do what needs to be done for a limited amount of time, like 2 weeks, and then just go right back there.
Then we have to talk again, the 2 weeks later.
And if they do the same thing in 2 weeks, it'll maybe last for 3 weeks of doing the right thing, and then it's start back again.
We talk 3 weeks later, because what people don't take into consideration is that long-term relationships are hard work. Especially if you're living with the person, or they're sharing the same living space, using the same dishes, the same bathroom, or they sleep in the same bed, or they need to get along. but he's also going to annoy you. You are also going to annoy him. Find somebody that you could actually work with and be in a relationship with. He mightn't be, like check every single box. Like say you have $100. If he check 95, that's fine. You could work with the 5 boxes that ain't check. Because I'm sure you don't check all the boxes either. Nobody could ever check all the boxes for the partner.
I think people just more selfish than what they used to be years prior. Or maybe there was always that people was always that selfish. Just the fact that you have the opportunity to share random opinions online and just generate like a cult or a following of people who would follow you or like your post, and you get this.
Yes, an echo chamber.
You get this type of endorphin rush, like, oh, people like what this I say. Oh, so maybe it was always like that, people just for themselves, like how I believe. But it's just, we have a space to do that now. As random as just making an account in 2 minutes and starting.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, people just feed in your narcissism. Because everybody is a narcissist to some degree.
Yeah, to some degree.
People feed in your narcissism. Everybody who would like your man hating or woman hating post is within your echo chamber and have you feeling like, yes, this is right, because have nobody else saying the contrary. And if it is anybody coming saying the contrary, they'll get shouted down by your audience. So you feel even more justified. I think the onus is on the single people to stop playing with your youth for women.
I disagree. The onus is on the people who together to give the proper example.
Oh.
The parents.
Okay, that's
the
true.
aunts and the uncles.
Yeah.
The grandmothers and the grandfathers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to set the example. So when it is your niece, your nephew, your grandchild, because you're like, grandma and grandpa together for a while, but
like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, not look back at your mother like, yeah, mommy single for a hot 15 years. But I not said, I love she is my queen. Right?
God.
Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. You think you think personal relationships going on in toilet? I think
so too.
It crashing and it burning quick. You have a lot of women with cats. Dildos, toys. We have a lot of men with sex toys, as in, the blow up dolls and the actual machine stuff, or
the owner holes,
the pumps, all that jazz, wherever it is. I have none of them.
The little egg thing.
Whatever. Let me know what you think. Don't get me in trouble.
No, everybody like doubles.